What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Primitive Viking. Today we're going to start looking at European 4-in-1 chainmail to add to the Viking setup. So we're going to start off with just talking about chainmail in general, what it was used for, and we're going to look at what is needed to make the chainmail. And then I'm going to do a little tutorial just how to make it. It's pretty straightforward. It's probably the easiest weave that you can do with chainmail, and it takes a little bit of time just to get used to the movement of what you need to do with your pliers to be able to get it in the correct weave. But once you get it down, it's kind of like knitting. You just kind of do it. I say like knitting. I've never knitted. I don't know. But I've seen people knit, and they kind of just, you can watch TV and do your thing and just keep going. So I'll do a nice little short video just on how to put it together. And we'll start off by looking at just the history of chainmail. Chainmail has been around since 200 BC, through the fall of the Roman Empire and into the Dark Ages. Mail is a common armor all over Europe, even down to what is now called the Middle East and was the Persian Empire. North into the Viking cultures, and even to the Far East, where the Japanese developed their own style of mail. Chainmail, or mail, is a type of armor or jewelry that is made from small metal rings, linked together in a pattern. Mail can generally be punctured by a spear or cut by the blow of a heavy axe or sword. Its flexibility and ability to expand means that the wearer is vulnerable to blunt weapons. However, it was an effective defense for its ability to stop cutting weapons from piercing the skin. The word chainmail is relatively recent origins, having been in use only since the 1700s. Prior to this, it was simply referred to as mail. The word mail refers to the material that the armor is made of, and not the garment that is made from it. A shirt is called a hauberk if it is knee length, haubergeon if it is waist length. Male socks are called chausses, and a male hood is a coif. The male mittens are mittens, and a male collar hanging from the helmet is called an aventail. Mail is still being used today in a few modern industries. Butchers commonly wear fine mail gloves to protect their hands, while shark divers wear entire suits of fine mail. There are other decorative and practical uses of chainmail currently: historical recreation groups, live-action role-play groups, as well as the fashion and costume industries. Modern chainmail artists also have access to tools and materials that historical armor makers did not have. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that little history lesson in the origins of chainmail. I really enjoyed putting that video together and doing the research. I hope you enjoyed it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go down to the mat that I have in front of me, and we're going to look at the tools that are needed to start doing chainmail. We're going to look at different gauges and sizes and colors of the split rings that you can get. I'm going to reference a website that I use a lot to get my chainmail supplies from, and it's called the ringlord.com. You're going to see a reference to that when I show you the different samples that I have from them. So what we'll do is we'll go down to the mat and have a little look at those, and then after that we'll go into a little tutorial on how to make European 4-in-1. Okay, so first of all we're going to take a little look at the tools that you need to start chainmail, and to be honest, the only thing that you really need are 2 pairs of pliers. Now, I prefer these pliers here that you can get from the ringlord.com. Now, I like the fact that you have the needle nose pliers here, and that they're also angled, because what it allows me to do is to grip. If I show you right now, I can grip quite easily my rings like so, and then have them round this way, and I'm able to then manipulate those rings and split them open as needed. And then also gives you the ability to, if you say drop a couple of rings, or you need something's hooked over one of these guys, you can get in there with that ring and manipulate it back in and just pick it up like so. Now, I strongly recommend that you get ones with the self-opening, the little sprung-loaded guys here, because the act of doing this and then having to keep opening every time you do it is wearing on your hands. You get tired very quickly. So the fact that you can just have it so it opens itself is very useful. And I've tried a number of different pliers in the past, and these are the best ones that I found. They allow me to give more dexterity to what I need. Okay, so then from this point we go on to start having a look at the different split rings. Now this is an 18 gauge 3/16 bright aluminium. You'll have to excuse the little cuts and stuff that I have in my hands. This is from making the shield in the last video that I did, when I talked about cinching the sinew down on the rawhide. This is what happens, so that's why I suggest wearing gloves when you do that. But back to this. Yeah, so these are the bright aluminium. Because they're a soft metal, they're super easy to work with. And I'll show you real quick. If you grab your pliers, like so, you can literally just boop, pop them open, just like that. And it makes it super easy to work with. And like I said earlier, they have a variety of different colors. My camera's a little out of focus right now so that I can get some close-ups. But yeah, so these are the different sizes and shapes and things. We've got square shape, which is like the black one down here. We've got anything, like I'll show you on the back here. This gives you an idea of what they have. Blues and greens and violets and golds and everything from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. And it goes from super small, which is the 20 gauge. So this number that's here, this is the sample pack that you get from the ringlord.com. So just to show you what this means, the 20 there is 20 gauge, and then the 1/8 is 1/8 of an inch. And it goes to a 5/32, 5/16, really small. But 20 gauge all the way to 14 gauge, which is the super thick guys. And you can see these in this packet right here. You can see the colors are really quite vibrant. You have to be careful when using the pliers on these guys because you can scratch off that color. That's why I like to go with the bright aluminium, just to make sure that if there is any scratches, you don't really notice it. But you can make any kind of pattern that you want with those, and any size. Like these guys are really quite thick. You can see from my thumb here, I could wear that as a ring, as a thumb ring. But the super small guys, these are the little 20 gauge ones here, super tiny. And the ones that I'm going to be using, like I said, are the 18 gauge, which that gives you an idea of the size that is in there. I have super small ones as well that I can do. And then there's different materials as well. These are all the bright aluminium ones in here. And then this is another pack called niobium. And niobium has an interesting trait where there's multiple colors in one ring. It's almost kind of like a rainbow effect. And I can show you, I've got one right here actually. If I hold it up as close as I can, you can kind of see it's kind of, these are the teal ones, but it goes to like a darky blue, to a light blue all the way through. Oh, dropped it, but that's fine. So what we'll do now is I'm going to show you, let me change the focus on my camera real quick, what you need to do to make European 4-in-1. If you've been watching in the background, this is European 4-in-1. Now, what 4-in-1 means is that you have 4 rings, 1, 2, 3, 4 in one ring. So you have one central ring and then 4 attached to that. And then you interlock them. Let me put the focus a little bit further up so you can see it a little bit closer. Yeah. So that's your 4 in 1. I also call it I like to call it a clove weave because it's like a 4-leaf clover. But yeah, this is your basic chainmail armor weave. So the way that we do this is we grab, I'm going to do this with different colored rings so that you can see it a little bit easier. So I have here a couple of the blue rings. So what you do is you take your one ring, like so, and you pop him open so you have a nice little gap in there, just like that. And then you take your 4 bright aluminiums, and you'll see as they come, where they've been cut off of the saw, there is a slight, they're offset. So what you need to do is you need to do what is called closing the ring. So you take it and you slide it in like that. So it is nice, and there we go. Nice and closed up. Let me change my focus for a second so you can see it a little bit closer. So again, here is that ring that is open, and you take your pliers and close that ring up and get it as close in as you can, like that. And you do that 2 more times. Then what you do is you grab your blue ring in your plier, like so, and you thread 1, 2, 3, and 4 onto that. And then you grab your pliers, like so, and you close that ring as tight as you can, like that. And then what you have is you have that European 4-in-1. Actually, really quite easy. That's basically what it looks like. That's what it is. There's your 4-leaf clover. So what you do from there to extend it out so it looks like this guy here is you repeat the process, but with 1 blue ring and 2 bright aluminium rings. So I'll put that down there for a second. So you take your blue ring, which I already have split open right there. You take 1 aluminium ring, repeat the process, close it up, and then you take another one and you close that one, like so. Now you thread 1, 2. Now, here is the tricky bit when you are first learning how to do it. You want to have it so that the ring is on the top, on the side that you're going to. So you have your ring on the top, like that, the blue, and the 2 bottom rings coming underneath. Now what you do is you take that ring and you go through that first one, and then you go underneath and back up and through. You see that? So let me do that again. So it's through that ring on the top, at the bottom, sorry. So you go through that ring there, and then you go under, up, and through. Just popped off, but that's fine. You go through like that. Now what you do is you get your other plier and you close that ring up, and then what you'll find is you have, if it has gone correctly, which I hope it has, and it has, you get your start there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a few more of those in so that you can see that take shape. So this guy is down here like this. Let me make sure that this is in focus. There we go. And you take your blue ring, pop it open, take your aluminium, close it, take your aluminium, close it, take your that, thread it, take your one here, go through, under, back up, and then close it up. And now you can see what I mean when I say that once you get used to it and you go pretty quickly, you can actually make short work of what you're doing. So yeah, that's the start of that, and that's 3 center rings and 8 outside rings. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a number of extra links to it, so bear with me. I'm going to do a little go into a little bit of a fast forward so that we can do this nice and quick. So just like that, I've added another 2 relatively quickly, like that. So now the next part with this is to be able to add more width-wise. So you can make it as long as you need to. So I'm just going to open another blue ring to make it what you want. Now this could turn into a bracelet, it could turn into something that is like a necklace, it could even turn into a armored shirt. A little bit of foreshadowing there. So what we do is we take our little thing here and we grab our blue. So I'm going to extend it that way, okay? So what you do is you take 1, 2 rings, and you're going to go through this ring and this ring here. Not the blue, just the 2 outside guys here. Now let me just adjust my focus because I'm going to get it so I can get it nice and quick and close so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got my ring like so. Let's get the focus in. There we go. And I'm going to pick up my piece like this. So this is the top 2 rings here. And you're going to go through and through. There's no going underneath, it's just going through those top 2, just like that. Okay? And you grab your other pliers and you close that up. So what that does is, if I lay this back out, change my focus back down like this, lay this back how that was, you can see I've now extended this out to the side by 2. So now, right at the start, you only do the 1 blue and the 2 silver there. Now to continue down, you just need 1 blue, which is open, and 1 silver, which hooks on there. Now what you're going to do is you're going to thread your blue through this ring, which is the 3rd ring, the 2nd silver ring, and then back across into the bottom ring that you've just added. So let me change my focus and I'll show you a little bit closer. So you have your split ring and you have the ones that you've just added. Now you go through the 3rd and through the 2nd, and then you do it as if you're doing it with adding onto the bottoms. You go under, up, and through, and then you lock it off. Okay, and that will give you what you need right here. So here is that added on. You can see I've added another blue and another silver. You can do it again. Now let me do it with a different color. I have a purple one right here, so you can see exactly what I did just then. So let me open this one and put on another silver. Adjust my focus. Now I have the purple and the silver. I have the one that I just put on, you can see here. Okay, so I'm going to go through these 2, under the ring by accident, and up through. Okay, and then you lock it off, and that is now made it wider again. To make sure that your rings are just kind of flipped the correct way. Focus, bonk, there we go. So now you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 going through that purple right there. And that is how you make European 4-in-1. And it gets to the point where you start to get a little carried away and you make something that looks like this. Now this is 23 inches long, which is roughly the length from my armpit to my mid-thigh. So as I said at the beginning, I'm going to be adding to my Viking setup, and I'm going to be making a halberdian, which is technically down to the knee, but I'm going to be doing a little bit shorter just to match my tunic that I have. So yeah, it's roughly 5 rings to every inch. So that is about 115 rings for the full length per piece. Let's remove part of my cat. So yeah, this guy is going to be heavy and a lot of rings, and I worked it out that it's going to be roughly around 30,000 rings. And you can see that the way this lies right now, there's a few places like here and around here where the rings don't fall properly. Now, as soon as I add more, like at the top here, you can see that it starts to lay much nicer. And it's going to be like this all the way across. So this will be the top, and the bottom will come down this way. So yeah, that takes us to the end of the tutorial, the European 4-in-1. Yeah, so this thing, once it's done, you can kind of see it's pretty long compared to me, and you can see where it's not really sitting properly. But again, once you get the this guy working properly, it lays really quite nice, and it kind of pulls itself out. So what I'm going to keep doing is just keep adding down, all the way down, and making it as wide as I can to go around me, and creating the trunk part. I'm going to keep doing videos on it. I'll do small updates on my Instagram, which link for that is down below. Just talking about the process and everything. And the videos that I do on YouTube will talk about the process. I'll do little bits and pieces of what I've added. And then also in the comments down below, I want you guys to let me know what you want to see. I've got various different types of weaves that I can show. There's like this one here, which is the Byzantine weave. Let me put it under the camera so you can see a little bit closer. But this is the Byzantine or Byzantine. Really nice for jewelry, and you can make real tiny pieces with it. And then the other thing I can do is once, or probably at the same time as doing the Halberdian, I'm going to do this, which is using dragon scale. And these, I have really small ones and I have really large ones. These are the large ones, which I just showed you under the camera there, and that's the size of them. They're a decent size. But then I've also got little teeny tiny ones that sit like this, and you can do really cool mail with those, which is very similar actually to the ones that were like the Persian style, which I talked about earlier. But yeah, so let me know what you want to see, what you want to look at. I can do tutorials on other types of weaves. And then also, if you've enjoyed this video and you like what you've seen, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and it'll let you know when I post more videos. And then, like I say, I have all the information about what is needed and where to get it for starting to do your chainmail journey. If you want to go and see one of my previous videos, I've got how I made this guy behind me. Is the last video on my channel that I did. So if you're interested in that, go and check that out. I have the war wounds to show what happened with that, and it was an effort to put that thing together, but it was well worth it, and you can see that in that video. But thank you very much, guys, for watching. I appreciate you, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video, whatever that may be. But it should be out in the next couple of weeks. And all I have left to say is for Valhalla.